This conference will now be recorded.
All right, guys, today is Wednesday, December 12th. And not a ton going on in the pre-market, but probably some of the best show of hands that we've had in the past few weeks. So let's talk about NBIX first. Now, I really like what I see going on here because if we look, almost all the controlling prints that we've gotten this morning, coming basically since 8 o'clock, we've seen have been pretty much bid. So we can see coming into that 72.50 level, we had our bid prints. But most interesting is the amount of prints that we've seen come in at that 70 level. Okay, so basically almost everything that we've got at 70 has been selling. Now, one thing that we want to look at is the orders. Now, we know that this stock is going to have a big range. On average, it trades $4.62. And we can see this morning trading 787,000 shares already. We have already pretty much came very close to breaking what we have as our average range on our average range, our average volume. Our average volume is 936,000 shares. So this is most certainly an anomaly. And if it on average moves $4.62, and we know we're going to break our average volume, we can almost certainly expect a bigger range than usual in this thing. So we're going to have a lot of movement coming in. And so far, it's really giving us a pretty clean show of hand. I mean, 70, we have a ton of selling, so we're going to be expecting this to pull up. And remember, the pull up is going to be extremely large in a stock like this based off not only the range, but how thin the orders are going to be. But then we even have some selling that came down at that 69.50, where we have 47,000 shares that are sitting there at that print line. So going to be expecting a pretty decent pull up coming into the morning before we end up seeing this thing come underneath 70 with a substantial amount. The most reasonable first price target to be looking at is going to be that 65 level. Now, next thing looking at is AEO. Now, AEO is another one that gave us a pretty good show of hand. Now, the trading itself is kind of garbage. It's not really doing much, but overall, if we come down here and we look 1750, it's pretty clean. We've had a few prints earlier this morning that came in at 18, at 741 this morning. So if we come back all the way over here, never really pulled up from that yet. So we're going to be expecting this stock based off of what we have there at that 1750 level to push up above the 18 before we end up seeing this one come down as well underneath 1750. This is not a big mover. On average, it moves 84 cents. So we have to move it in pretty much 50-cent increments. So we're going to be looking for that price target of 17. Next thing looking at is NBIX. So NBIX, NBIX, ASTC. We just went over NBIX. ASTC, so one of the things that I saw this morning, we are getting some selling coming into that 4 level, but if it lets me go, is it going to let me go? Yeah. All right, so we can come and we can see above that 4 level, we did get some really nice new buying that came in. We can see 415 to pretty much 430. We've had, some really decent buying, and then this burst right here that I really like. I'm sitting there from, once again, 417 to 430. So there's certainly new money that came in above that 4. My biggest thing is just with these cheaper stocks, and when they make these moves early, a lot of the times we see them kind of fizzle out and just get sold off once the market opens. But once again, we do have that money that's sitting near the buying, that's sitting near those highs. So it's towards the bottom of my list. NBIX by far is going to be the first stock that I look at, and the reason being is because the range is going to be absolutely huge. So certainly by far going to be the first thing, but certainly going to watch this one as well, considering the fact that we have that buying. Like I said, I'm just not a big fan of when they make that move early, because a lot of times when the market comes, we do see that sell off, and we were already kind of seeing a little bit coming into that 4. Now, we didn't really get any prints at the 4 level, which is certainly a good sign, showing us that we're not really selling into it yet, but just keep that in mind going in. And then one thing I do have on our side list is CORT. Now, we made a big jump coming into the morning. We jumped up about $1.20. But it really happened on not much. I mean, if we look at the actual volume itself, we're talking about, 30,000 shares. And the one thing that we do have right here, look at these selling prints that came in at 19 on its way down. So I wouldn't be shocked to see when the market opens and kind of give that false hope to pop this thing back up around that 20 level before we end up coming and seeing that bigger sell underneath the 19. So it's on the side list because the volume is just very, very sporadic. And even yesterday, as it was trading, you could see it didn't really keep a great consistency. We definitely had those moments where it just kind of went underneath. And remember, yesterday it was hot. This morning we have 204,000 shares, which is definitely a lot more than we usually would see in CORT. trading during the pre-market. But the show of hand at 19 is showing us that they do not expect it to have much more room going up, and especially could 20 being such a psychological level, the puzzle really makes sense there. So certainly another one that we're going to be watching pretty closely. Other than that, there's not really much going else on. Let's take a look at our scanners. Let's see if we have anything new that has came in. ASTC, we already know about. We already know about CORT, RARX. Now, it's moving up, and I was looking at this one before. Coming into that 16 level, we did get some decent buying, but it's really kind of far away, and we just haven't got really anything ever since it's got up around that 17 level. So if we don't have any type of new buying, what we're going to end up seeing is this thing come back down. It is going to go on our list, but it's going to be one of the bottom of the list because the other ones just have a way better show of hands that have came into them. And this one, it has opportunity there, but we're going to need, better prints, especially above that 17, because we just haven't got pretty much any yet. We have SBS, 202,000 shares. It's trending a little bit, but nothing there that I care about. ABIL, just absolutely nothing going on there. BCS, 474,000 shares. Absolutely not. UXIN, 109,000 shares, but not really doing any type of trading. And that pretty much shows it. It shows about the rest of it. PVTL is new to the list, but I just don't see anything there. Actually, I mean, overall, coming into that 1850, I actually got a really nice burst of buying. Now, I don't like the way that the stock is trading by any means, but look at this consolidation that this thing's been in for an extremely long period of time. We have 160,000 shares, which is very abnormal considering the fact that it really doesn't trade during the pre-market or even during the day. So certainly going to put this, let's keep an eye on this. PVTL, it's not looking terrible. It's not my favorite by far just because of the way that we usually see it end up trading, and it's already kind of doing that during the pre-market. But 161,000 shares and that big buying that came in at that 1850, certainly something that we have to keep our eyes on. Moving along over to the loser side of things. We have NBIX, which we already know about, and that's pretty much it. AEO we know about, TVIX ETF, UA 24,000 shares, nothing that we're going to be doing there. Oh, well, you got to get here at 9 a.m., Brianna. But no, we did not go over Apple yet. So Apple, same type of deal. I told you guys yesterday, 169. There was no way that we were not breaking up above that 170 level. We analyzed this going into our traders exchange. We talked about it in our meetings. So it still looks like we still have a little bit more room to go. I mean, it just hasn't really shown much, but we got a little bit of a new buying at 170.70. The reason I'm saying that this thing needs to go up a little bit higher, and it needed to break past that 170 levels because of the amount of times that 169 got hit on the bid. So getting hit 3 times in a stock like Apple, that certainly qualifies for the stock moving up more than $2. So overall, I'm still going to be expecting more, but you're going to need to see a show of hand. I'm expecting something, but until I get the data that shows us it's going to, not really going to make that call because overall we know that there's mostly selling that's in this stock below this 170 level. Next one we want to take a look at is MU. So MU is not really doing much going into this pre-market, but we know the story. We know that there's a beautiful buying at that 36 that got hit 3 times yesterday. So are we going to expect a gigantic move for $5? No, but yesterday, remember, the ranges in a lot of things were very, very light. So today, there's the average, there's a lot to make up for. So that's definitely something to look forward to on top of the fact Wednesdays typically being our best trading days of the week. So things are looking pretty good this morning. Like I said, NBIX is my favorite. AEO has one of the better show of hands that we have out there as well. So 2 really good show of hands that we already have going into the morning should set up for, a beautiful open. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? Looks like that is about it. All right, so let's get ready for the morning. Like I said, we have our show of hands right now, so there's not really much work that we have to do. It's just a matter of the market opening. Make sure we have our game plans like we talked about yesterday. Okay, figure out what is going to make sense. What's your expectations of where the stock should pull up first before where the trigger should statistically happen, and make sure you have your price targets and your price target set based off of the prints that we have. All right, guys. So any other personality info on NBIX? No, I haven't traded NBIX, but I mean, not that I remember. I'm sure at some point I traded it. But one thing, you just got to look at it. The range is going to be huge. Trades $4.62 on average, moving 936,000 shares. So I mean, that's, obvious show of hand range. The only thing is it's going to be jumpy, okay, because, the orders are so thin, so you're going to see big swings coming into it. But at the same time, you know what? When the stock moves that much, that's something that you're going to have to expect. All right, guys, so I will see everyone in the chat room, and happy trading.